are watching Political Conversations.
Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Political Conversations on Freedom Square TV. Of course, about this time every day, what we normally have is Beyond the Headlines. But because we have a guest that is actually political, we brought our political conversations from the evening to this morning. It's actually the first time we're doing it. So welcome to the program. Today, we will be examining one of the most talked about governance approaches in Enugu State under His Excellency Governor Peter Ndubisi. And that's why our topic is From Opposition to Center, Evaluating Peter Mba's Disruption Model in Enugu State. As Governor Peter Ndubisi assumed office in May 2023, the administration has consistently described its style as a disruption model, breaking away from the old ways of governance to pursue rapid economic growth, infrastructure development, digital transformation, improve security, quality education, healthcare reforms, and increase internally generated revenue. Others argue that the administration has changed the pace of governance, accelerated project delivery, and introduced bold reforms that are positioning Enugu State for economic competitiveness. Critics, however, believe that while the vision is ambitious, governments must continue to ensure inclusiveness, transparency, affordability of reforms, that development reaches every community. So today we ask, has the disruption model delivered on these promises? What lessons can be learned? How has governance changed from opposition politics to the responsibility of governing? To discuss these issues, we are being joined in the studio by the Special Advisor Political to the Governor of Enugu State, Honorable Frank Anioma, popularly called Ezes Nachi. Good morning and welcome to Political Conversations.
Good morning, Uche.
So, this our guest plays a strategic role in government political engagement, stakeholder relations, party coordination, and communicating government policies to political actors across Enugu State. As someone who works closely with the governor, he has first-hand knowledge of the administration's vision, policies, achievements, and challenges. Today, we're going to provide insight into the philosophy behind the disruption model and how government measures its progress. It may be a tall order, but Honorable, let me even start. Many people hear the word disruption, but may not fully understand it. And they worked with the governor for about 3 years and a half, if I'm not mistaken. So what exactly does Governor Peter Mba mean by the disruption model?
Thank you very much and welcome our viewers. Yes, the word disruption is to change the model, the system of doing something, to change the system of governance from what it used to be to a more result-oriented governance, a government that is accountable to the people, responsive to the yearnings of the people, a government that have changed from the local way of doing things to bring into the system the technological advancement that we see today. When you talk about the security architecture that His Excellency Barrister Peter Ndubisi have put in place, it is a disruption from what it used to be. Today we have cameras, we have vehicles that are embedded with AI cameras that are keeping surveillance across the states, that is helping in that security achievement that so far we've done. The disruption of what it used to be that in Enugu State before the government of Peter Ndubisimba, it was like Enugu State civil service work 3 days in a week instead of 5. On Mondays, they sit at home. Tuesday, they go to work. Wednesday, they go to work. Thursday, they go to Friday, it's for burial and other social activities. His Excellency have disrupted that status quo, that today from Monday to Friday, government business is open and run efficiently. So disruption or disruptive governance is to bring accountability and transparency in the way government business is run.
Okay, when they talk about disruption or disruptive governance, like you say, is a change from the old way of doing things and to a new one. There's one sore point that people are still wondering: why hasn't this disruption or disruptive model touched it? When Governor Peter Mbah came, there was this system, okay, where people sit at home on the last Saturday of the month for 3 hours or 4. It's an old system. And the governor is a well-traveled man. You don't sit anybody at home in London to clean the city, nor in New York. But even Lagos people had to go to court to say, you do not have a right to keep us. So somebody said he just stopped Monday sit at home and he's continuing with a 3-hour sit at home every last Saturday of the month. What's your advice? What's government waiting to change that model? Because it's actually from the old. Or does he believe that that's the better way of cleaning our city?
Well, because of the level of understanding and compliance and people, today you will ask me equally, how come that we still have members of the Ministry of Transport asking people to obey traffic lights? It's part of the problem we have with our people. Normal cleaning our sanitation, or last Saturday of the month, people sitting at home to ask them to clean their environment. We find out that ordinarily, because of our pursuit for business and other activities, people find it difficult to really create time to do what they are supposed to do. Where at the rainy season, most of the drainages are blocked, and if you don't try to encourage them to do that, many will still ignore doing those responsibilities. So I believe, yes, it's from the old order, but we still find value in it. That does not mean that there couldn't be any kind of change or trying to rearrange it, but we are monitoring the compliance from the people. So I believe that with time, if there is need, we really find there is need for that last Saturday of the month sanitation exercise to be rejigged. I believe the authorities in charge will do something about that.
Close to that, correct me if I'm wrong, that this thing that many buses don't fly after 9 p.m. But from the old order, as government that is disruptive, has it changed that order, or does it still exist?
Yeah, it still exists because we looked at the old order and find out that somehow it is assisting on the security of lives and property, because miscreants have turned those mini buses because of the speed it does. They will be able to move with it with speed to snatch people's bags and kidnap people. So we find out that we are using it to commit crime, and that is why the ban is still in force. Like before we came in, the ban on the motorcycle as a means of transport, we turned out that the operators, most of the miscreants, most of the unscrupulous elements now use those bikes to commit crimes and use it to the reckless way they apply it on the road, create more accidents than it should be. So it was banned. So that we are disruptive government does not mean that if we see something that is good, that we will not adapt it. We will adapt to it and then make amends where necessary. So those ban is still in force. Motorcycles are not allowed to ply Enugu as a means of transport. And then the minibuses are still expected to close their business after 9 p.m.
Okay, let's talk about governance and development. And of course, one of the most robust campaign promises of His Excellency the Governor was to grow the Enugu economy from 4.4 billion to 30 billion. How close is government to achieving that vision? What projects do you believe have made the greatest impact so far?
Yeah, the projects that have made the greatest impact so far are many. When we talk about growing this economy, it's equally encouraging private sector participation. Today, Enugu is one of the conference centers of this country. On daily basis, you see different organizations coming into Enugu to hold their conference because of the comfort and the facilities we have at the International Conference Center. And I'm sure before this month of August winds up, the Enugu International Hospital will come on stream. It will cut the medical tourism to a large extent because of the world-class facilities that His Excellency have made available in the hospital. Today, most of the moribund industries that was inherited by this administration are up and running. You talk about the Nike Lake Resort, you talk about the Hotel Presidential, you talk about the Niger Gas. Work has reached advanced stage at the Aluminium Smelting Company in Ohebe. Work is equally progressing at the Sunrise Flour Mill. So I believe with the time, all this coming to stream towards achieving that goal of growing our economy. Today we have the Enugu Air that is bringing people into Enugu. You can have a meeting at Abuja or Lagos this morning and come back in the evening. These are helping, creating access for people to come in. I visited about 4 tourism sites. That work is ongoing. I went to the Pine Forest where we will have a zip line. All the structures are almost completed. I have to move into the waterfall we equally have at that place. And then I went to Ohebe where they are doing Ohebe Atu Udi. Opatu was at Apatu too, where they are doing the Cross of Hope and another religious tourism there. We have at Nsude, the Sude Pyramid, with they are going to do the canopy walkway there. So these are things that are creating the tourism aspect of it that will bring people, visitors. As His Excellency have always said, that we hope to attract about 3 million visitors to this state. So people come in, and you notice what happened when the bar lawyers came to Enugu for their conference. Most of the hotels in Enugu were not enough to accommodate them. Business thrived the way it should be. So we are making steady progress into moving that GDP to what His Excellency have promised the people of Enugu State. Don't lose sight that the agricultural sector is equally picking up, the smart farms in all the wards.
Okay, the commissioner, in fact, the commissioner for agriculture sat where you were sitting last week, and he actually exposed. But he said that in no distant time that agriculture will be the. He said agriculture is the oil, Enugu's oil, and then he gave out an idea of the number of people he has employed. It appears that agriculture is the greatest employer of labor in anywhere, any place. And I think from what he said, government is doing well. Now let's look at let's combine this: the Smart Green Schools initiative and the healthcare. When governor took over, he brought a model, the Smart Green Schools initiative. As of today, over 267 smart schools are in various stages of development. Some are already running, some are. But again, critics felt that it was one like 10 fingers in one mouth. And so the obvious challenges. Ditto for the revolution that is supposed to take place in the healthcare system, the type 2 hospitals. Again, 260 in 260 words. And people are worried about completion, development, and efficiency. What are the gains? What are the concerns?
Yes, the gains of the smart green schools is a governor that is ambitious, a governor that has a vision to transform the citizenry, to bring them into the future of the century. We all are moving. We know that the world is moving from analog to digital. Today we have talk about electric cars, CNG buses. This will find out that these are not the kind of mechanics we used to have when we have Peugeot that are going to be taking care of these vehicles. These are AI, these are ICT enabled vehicles and gadgets. So His Excellency's idea about these smart green schools is to turn into Enugu into a hub where in the next future, in the next 10-15 years, if you're looking for where you will have digital students, people that will transact within the ICT level, you should be talking about Enugu State. That is the idea. Opening up these children from the cradle, expose them to digital experiences, will make them that in the nearest future, you will see people that are solving problems, not just reciting what they learned in school, bringing in experiential learning into the system where they are taught by learning what they are being taught. So that is the idea about the Green Smart School. And because His Excellency has always maintained that he does not want any part of Enugu to be left undeveloped. If His Excellency have started a model of doing one smart school per zone or per local government, the critics would have still come against him. He has chosen a particular ward, a particular area to develop. Why not do it across the state? Yes, the project is humongous, it's huge, it has its own challenges. But I can tell you that the government, if there is any project, anything in governor's manifesto that is so dear to him, is to move these our children to that digital world. So the smart school is dear to his heart, and he is leaving no stone unturned to make sure that these smart schools, all of them without exception, start running by September. Most of them, like Riley said, are already running. And you cannot expect that when you do 267 projects that are given to different contractors, yes, there could be some challenges. But the good thing is that these challenges are being noticed on time, and we are tackling it as they are, as we see them, as they are exposed. Some yes had challenges that has been rectified. Those that had a problem with their roofs has been redone, and then the equipping of the schools are ongoing. The uniforms are there. Don't mind, you can visit any of the one that is running, and you'll be able to appreciate the beauty and the intention of His Excellency, where you have your people from the nursery to the secondary school. The school uniforms are free, the books are free, everything concerning that smart school is free, with a balanced meal each day for all the pupils. So it is an initiative that His Excellency well thought about it, enunciated it in his manifesto. So it's not something that just came up by mistake. So those challenges, we are tackling it. Same with the primary health care. This is a type 2 primary health care that has quarters for the medical personnel. A situation where you post a medical person to my community in Amaguns and he lives in Enugu and visit the health center once or twice a week, that story will change, because all the medical personnel that are going to work there, at least at any point in time, you must have somebody at the clinic that attend to the people. So he's thinking about the welfare and well-being of the entire citizenry of Enugu State. That is, and apart from the 260 type 2 hospital, the general hospitals are underway. Most of them work is in progress, that are going to have about 8 general hospitals that are springing up from different parts of the state.
Okay, before we leave, before we go to politics, because that is the key point, let's get back to just last week or 2 weeks ago. Um, an agency that's well recognized did an analysis of 33 growing states in Nigeria, and they ranked Enugu State as the fastest of the 33. As a political advisor, how do you feel? And what does that mean to Enugu State government?
Yeah, what it means to Enugu State government, in my view, is an encouragement, is to show that the programs and policies of the governments are being noticed. What it means again is that we are not going to rest on our laurels, that we have to double down to make sure that we do not drop, that we must continue with that trajectory to make Enugu State the preferred state for people to live in and transact their business. They have considered a lot of things, both of ease of doing business and the security architecture that are in place in Enugu State, making Enugu one of the safest states in this country today. So I think that rating is well deserved.
Okay, let's talk politics. Before we go to the other questions, let's just talk about the political stability of Enugu State in the past 3 years and a half. How do you assess the administration's political stability in spite of the turmoil from PDP to APC? How do you rate the stability of government? You know, it's not easy to transit from PDP to APC and then
Yes,
challenges.
it's something I must give kudos to His Excellency Barrister Peter Ndubisimba. His ability to manage human beings, the way he has been able to communicate with the political class, I think is what gave rise to the success we've witnessed in political stability of Enugu State. Like you rightly said, amongst all the states in this country that transition from whatever other party to the APC that is center, I can tell you that Enugu is one state that the transition was so seamless, that the transition was accepted by the majority of the political class. In Enugu State, all the political office holders were in part of that grand movement, because His Excellency took time to interface with all the political actors to explain to them the reason and the importance of aligning the state with the center. And so that made that movement a grand movement, not just the campaign or something, but Enugu State. I can't remember any other state that have almost all the former governors of the state transitioning with him to APC. All the political office holders, both former and present, moved with us to APC. And you can witness, you saw that with the primaries. Today, so many states are still in court because of the primaries they had, because of the friction between the old and the new party. But in Enugu State, it is another victory for the party. Everything was seamless. There was no single court case or what do they call it? The appeal panel that came from the party went home because there was no appeal. Nobody complained. Certainly was able to manage the system in such a way that it is acceptable to the majority of the political class. Of course, you cannot please everybody, but at least we have the majority accepting the candidates that the system was able to throw.
Okay, you have a point there, but you know that those of us who are in this profession, we have our ears to the ground. Some say that what you have is what you call the silence of the graveyard. But when PDP, okay, I had asked actor Ben Woye this question while he sat where you are sitting. When PDP came into APC, that he swallowed. I used the hijack, he refused. I said, then you swallowed the old APC. But he said, when you look at the national state officers of the party, you'll find it like just They just changed names from PDP to APC. And so, if people said they tried to talk, they discovered that their talk wouldn't go anywhere. So, what you may say is an acceptance may be the silence of a graveyard. How do you speak to that?
Well, I don't believe it's a silence of the graveyard, because if we swallowed Ben Woye won't be here speaking to you, because he's from the old order.
Between me and Ben Woye here.
Between
me and Ben Woye here.
If we swallow,
let me tell you,
Abala will not be there routing
let's talk about this Ben Woye.
Yeah.
The way you're seated, I asked him, do you believe that your emergence as Deputy National Chairman of APC South is a trade by barter? Because you almost sacrificed your life. Ben Woye was not just a nominal APC guy. He sacrificed everything he had for Peter, His Excellency the Governor, to join APC. And so, his emergence would be like a payback. And you know what he said? He said without Governor Peter, he wouldn't be Deputy Chairman of APC.
That is true. He's been
okay. So Ben Woye is on a different lane altogether.
No, but to go to Abala,
he's a nominal member. He's almost not even head.
It's not true.
That's
not true. And I must tell you, I must commend Ben Woye, because he's a patriotic citizen.
Yes, I give it
for
to
him. Yes, for him to he have seen the value of not getting Enugu aligned to the center, and he's among the people that spoke to His Excellency and to other people to convince us to make that grand movement. And today we are all better for it. So I commend him for that foresight. Then, and like you rightly said, yes, for some people will certainly feel displaced and not happy. It's normal. That's politics. Yes. That's politics. So, but the majority are in tandem with what we are doing. It is not a silence of the graveland. We have tested the waters with the by-election of the senatorial seat at Enugu North senatorial zone, and people have spoken. And you see the acceptance of the party. I think the major thing in politics is when you fail to explain to people what you're doing,
why you did.
When you distance yourself from the people, that is where you have problem. But when you interface and interact with people, explain to them that first and foremost they will realize that you recognize them, inviting them to tell them this is what I want to do, and then take feedbacks from them, allay their fears that everything is fine. I think that's okay. There's no major player in the old APC that did not have discussions, meetings, several meetings, series of meetings. We had these meetings before that movement. I reassure them, and I can tell you that most of them are getting integrated into the government.
They say so, because I've interviewed a few of them, and they said, look, yes, we are accommodated, but we are accommodated as subordinates. He said, if you look at the party structure, you have a principal, they're all deputies, vice. So the important thing is that, however, they agree they're carried along, but they're subordinated.
Yeah, that is politics. Yes, I will allude to that, because for me, it's now for you to prove yourself, your loyalty. Politics is about loyalty, to prove yourself and your capacity to be part of what is going on. I'm sure the space is still there.
Yeah, one particular question. So far, what would we consider to be the biggest benefit of Enugu joining the center so far?
Good. The biggest benefit of Enugu joining the center is that, one, we cannot continue with political battles. We cannot alienate the state from what is happening at the center. Today we've seen the infrastructural development, the roads within the zone. I will tell you this, in terms of political appointment, unfortunately, most of the positions that either should have come to Enugu went to other places, because there is nobody, the state was not aligned, the state was not at the decision-making table of the party. Today, the stories are changing. A lot of, you notice, few appointments at the national level today, and then Enugu State are fully represented. Some of the positions that people that are not from Enugu State gave to their cronies, His Excellency is working assiduously to get those positions back. So aligning to the center is on getting involved with what is happening there, having your voice heard at the center, trying to be at the table where decisions concerning this country is being made. And I'm happy with the quality of the governor we have. He's not just joined the APC, but today he's one of the most sought voice in that party, both at the national level.
Okay. What would you consider as a political advisor as the biggest political crisis this government has faced? And how was it resolved?
The government of Barrister Peter and
What do you consider the biggest political crisis that government has faced since 2023? And how was that solved?
Well, I can't even remember a serious political crisis we faced except our grand movement to APC. And I wouldn't call that a crisis either. What we've had is a normal descent in politics. Politics, they say, is about interest. So some people who feel their interests are not well taken care of. We've not had any political crisis, so to say.
Okay, let me take you back. Enugu State stood while they were in PDP, desired to have the secretary of the PDP, and of course, that didn't happen. And you know, His Excellency the Governor stood by our brother Okoye, and all the point he said that if that does not happen, that was the biggest crisis I think that party had faced. And so if it does not happen,
you said the political crisis in Enugu State.
Yeah, it was.
That was a national politics. That was an office zoned to the people of Southeast,
and Enugu stood out
for it. So it is something that has to do with the national. It was a national crisis of the party.
Don't you think that crisis was what forced Enugu PDP to move to APC?
Oh, sure. It contributed.
It was a crisis.
It contributed.
Yeah.
But it has to do moving the entire state. It's not an interstate crisis. It's something that is outside Enugu, and not just Enugu. It was the Southeast. The only thing is that Peter Mba, being the leader of the then party in the Southeast, was the voice that are being listened to. The leaders and elders of the party then from the Southeast spoke and said, this is our position, that where this position is not respected, that they may reconsider their membership of the party. And when some people felt that their voice doesn't really matter, of course that decision, they reconsidered their position. So today, you can tell me who are still in that party from the Southeast zone, not just Enugu.
We'll wait and see. Okay. Government is there to serve the people, and in political circles, people work for government and expect to be rewarded by the same government. How has the governor fulfilled his primary political promises to the electorate? The electorate now are the political electorate, not just the general people of Enugu State. Because we have the political class. These are men and women, some that stood out at the INEC office all through that time and shouted on your mind, Peter Mba will stand by you, and eventually. Do you think that those people are being carried along? Or do you think there's an influx of new breed politicians that, as they say, never even cast a vote on election day?
Okay, for me, I'll tell you, it's a continuous process. Everybody cannot be commissioner on the same time. We have a number of ministries that you have to appoint people to oversee. But politics, like we said, carrying them along is not just getting political appointments.
All right.
There are other that I almost came late here, if not because of the route. If this your studio, the road leading to this studio were what it used to be, certainly I wouldn't have met up by the time I left. But I had a free flow of traffic, and I am here. So it's part of the benefit that His Excellency have promised the people of Enugu. For the political class, I will only ask them. Yeah, we may say yes because I am the special advisor that I've already gotten my.
No, you are the main man that the politicians should latch on to.
But I'm pleading with them to continue exercising patience. His Excellency is on it. We've had several appointments, and I will tell you that in no distant time, more political appointments will be announced. We are working on the development centers, the local government elections, The primaries are concluded. By September, a new set of chairmen and councillors will be there. These are part of the political engineering and the benefit of supporting the party. You cannot rule out the fact that there should be new players. It is politics is evolving. It could not just be the old people or the static people. When you look around, when we all started through 99, you ask yourself how many of us people are coming in. Those that are at the helm of affairs today were people that one way along the line that joined.
Frank Anioma, political advisor. Let me tell you what's on the streets. They said any appointment Peter makes today is for the election, that it is not born out of love. Election is a campaign that's starting on 19th of this month. The governorship starts on the 20th of thereabout.
On 9th.
On 9th of September. Okay? And the development sector has been like it, so to speak. It's not comatose, it's been working, but it's not been very viable. I said today, because this appointment you're talking about is just in the air. The God is going to make some big appointment. I say, that's just for political reasons. That's just for the election. So what do you say?
Okay. All appointments politically has been to run the government and for election. From the onset, both the commissioners were to help to run the government, to deliver on the promises and projects of His Excellency. And by implication, it has to do with the election.
This one you are trying to make a political class.
That's what I'm saying. Who is not a political class? The commissioners are they not politicians?
I'm telling you,
the special advisors are not.
I'm telling you, they're not politicians.
Like who? Who is not a politician?
They say they are here to serve the state.
To serve the state.
And when they are done, they are going to go.
And deliver political gains. Because the highest campaign is the promises, the dividends of democracy you've been able to give to the people.
Correct.
It's not about sharing money to politicians without delivering on the welfare of the people. So that's the highest campaign. Now, the political actors, every appointment, I was appointed political advisor for campaign, for election. And so any commissioner that cannot...
First for stability.
Any commissioner or special advisor that have not been able to influence his local government, his ward, towards ensuring the re-election of Peter Mba is not worth that office. Even those who thought ab initio that they are not politicians have realized that you cannot be holding political offices and you say you are not a politician.
Once you're appointed, you become one.
You become one. So even if you're a technocrat and you are holding a political, you are now a technocrat in politics. You have to play the politics because first, it is politics that gave all of us the job. Yes. It's politics that gave all of us the platform. So you cannot run away from politics. And the complaint, one thing, there's nothing you can do in democracy that people will not criticize.
Of course, that's part of it.
If you have appointed everybody once, people will still say, this number is not enough. They have decided not to do any project. He is just giving appointments. So today, he has that focus to do the job and now to move into full swing into politics. So appointment, whenever it comes, people will appreciate it. And yet it will not be enough because many more will still feel...
No, there's not going to be enough.
So
let's talk something that has actually generated controversy in Enugu State. I'm sure the viewers will not forgive me if political advisor you walked in here and I shy away from this question. Critics call it the urbanization of Enugu politics. I prefer to use a different word, appointment of non-indigenous. One is that when you cast it to a particular tribe, you are not doing any good to anybody. So let me use the word non-indigenous. That's the one which I would prefer to use. And my question would be actually, how has the administration benefited, and didn't benefited from the appointment of non-indigenous to key positions? What difference has it made?
Well, His Excellency, Barrister Peter Simba, being a pan-Nigerian, is not given to that sectionalism, that bigotry that people are trying to interpret. It's not just a particular tribe. We have people from the northern states that are serving in this government.
That's why I'm using non-indigenous.
Good. So that, I think, instead of people criticizing that opportunity he gave to other people, non-indigenous, I think it's something that they should be applauding. Now, this is a man who came and believed so much on merit, on ability to deliver. So, but because politics and criticism are one, democracy with criticism are one, they're even good because it keeps those in government on their tools to keep on working. But the point is, are they delivering? Those people are appointed, they will tell you that they are not performing, but yet they see the evidence that this business is thriving. They'll say, yes, it's a Yoruba man, a Yoruba woman that is in charge of Enugu Air. Airline business is a very difficult business people go into. But surprisingly, Enugu Air started making profit from the first month. It started running. So if you have somebody that have the idea, that have been in the space, that have been doing that business, that can accept to help to move your idea and vision into something that is tangible, and people are just interested on where the person comes from, not on the result, I think it is myopic and it's unfair from those people. We have other Enugu people are managing a lot of other facets of this administration. Why don't they praise those ones?
Let me, there's something that I will not let go. I don't think it may be entirely correct if you say Enugu became making profit day one. If you know the amount of money it takes to start an airline, if you say it's running efficiently, I totally agree with you. I've canvassed it even when I'm outside of here to say, if you want to come to Enugu. But I brought a family from Abuja to spend 2 weeks here in Enugu. Because what I thought about Enugu, they say it's not. I said you can come in the morning, go in the evening. And they really came and they traveled and they enjoyed it. Well, it's running efficiently, making profits. Not yet sure. But let's leave that. Let me tell you 2 areas. But we are here to talk about our government. And when we say the things we ask, it's not out of ill will. It's because we are hearing from the public. I have no issues with the chief executive of Enugu Air. It has to be a qualified person. But there are 2 issues they asked me to ask you. What is the qualification of the man that runs ESBS that you cannot find in the Southeast? That's number 1. Number 2, besides you ask you too, what is the qualification of the person running Enugu State Housing Development Corporation? Where, for example, Igbo this Igbo wants to go to housing. I don't want to talk about gender. I've been MD of Housing Corporation. I know how our people, the kind of people that come to the place to ask for matters. You go to Omuchibo to acquire land. Are you getting me now? So they say, well, of course, who becomes personal advisor to the governor, but that these 2 key areas, what is the exceptional merit or credentials of those running it?
Thank you very much. I'll start from the last question, talking about Enugu State Housing Corporation. We've been in government for about 3.5 years. The person that had been mentioned now is not yet up to 3 months at Housing Corporation.
So it's not even have happened in the first place. Whatever.
Wait. The question is 3.5 years, 3 years running. Who was in charge of Enugu State Housing Corporation? Was he not an indigene?
Gerard.
Fine. So the myriad of confusion and crisis in that place, was it because he's not from Enugu person? And a lady,
do they have a board?
A lady that have been tested and we seen her deliver in other areas and have been sent there to sanitize the place. Nobody has announced her as general manager of Housing Corporation. She's there on a rescue mission, and once she's done with what she's asked to do there, His Excellency will make an appointment of a substantive general manager of Housing Corporation. But like I said, when you see your haters or naysayers, whatever you do, The question is what is happening there now? Is she trying to streamline that place? They have not known the exploits of that lady there. That lady there, if I tell you the amount of money that they have saved the Enugu State, because one, she doesn't know you and she doesn't need to. Looking for somebody to come and influence her. Today, do you know how much money that Enugu State was losing with the electrification in the street lights and so on? That people that hear that running that racket, if I tell you how much they came to offer her to allow them continue siphoning that money, telling you the number of diesels that they put in non-working generators in the Enugu State and the lights are not on. I can't come here to start telling you this, people. Do you know what has happened at housing, at water corporation? People will give you bill and behind you I'll tell you, wipe out the entire information concerning your bill and then how much they'll collect. So these people are there, have been tested, they are professionals in their own way, working behind the scene, just simply because she's now asked to sanitize that place. They are now saying she is not general manager of housing corporation.
I want to thank you for this clarification. You know why? And that's why government people should always talk to the press. Because until you said it now, virtually the misinformation or disinformation, whichever one they want to take it, they're not the same thing. The disinformation or misinformation that she's general manager. And you just explained this bit. Maybe communication with government to the people should be more robust. Thank you for this. Now, ESBS.
Well, ESBS, I don't really have anything so special to say about the man there.
Or the achievement. He's a good journalist.
Whatever that gave His Excellency that idea to bring him, like you said, he's a good journalist. He may be a good journalist,
but he's a good manager.
Manager might be a different issue. So his best is not even good to me as a person. So I accept that one. I'm not here to argue and defend something I know that is I don't have anything to back.
Okay.
But I hope he will be able to do what he's supposed to do, or all of us will be able to advise His Excellency to equally make a change in that direction.
Local government elections.
Yes.
The system, a little bit, somebody who is not honest will say our local government system is not working. People expect so much. But are they working? I've been a local government chairman. They're doing their best. But of course, like you know, there's always room for improvement. What are your plans for the elections in September?
Well, the elections...
When does the campaign start and all that?
Yeah, the campaign is already on. The NSEC have released their timetable. The campaign is already on. I had a meeting with the state chairman of our party, Dr. Martins Chukwuwike. He has drawn a program of campaign for the local government election. So I'm sure by next week we should roll out the drums. I do not expect much difficulty in our local government chairmen getting their victories. I must tell you, like you said, I had that privilege of being a local government chairman also. And the expectation is always enormous. This is the government that is closest to the people. People might find difficult to see people at the National Assembly or even in government house, but they know you at the local government. The resources can never be enough. I'll tell you some local governments, I pity them. If you visit a local government like in Soka local government, that should be about 3 or 4 local governments. So why do you start? All the stretch from here to Zowan, or even in Zowan, start from Soka, you come out to Ezeago, with the topography. There's nothing much anybody can do there that people will accept you are doing very well. Because if you're working on this area, on this section of the local government, the other people will continue to cry that you are not doing anything. And then the worst it is like the political class look at the local government to be a welfare
cash cow.
cash cow. But so as these chairmen are struggling, some of them are doing marvelously well. They are trying. Some have been able to do roads. Some have been able to renovate one or two hospitals and so on. And then doing a lot in trying to empower the youths and so on. But it can never be enough. Like you say, there's room for improvement. And the expectation from them is so much. So much.
Okay, the youth population anywhere from majority in any polity. Through your office, how has the government engaged the youth population?
The government is doing a lot on the youth population. We have a lot of program from the SMEs program to the agricultural sector, trying to mechanize the agriculture and make it attractive so that the youths can equally get involved in this in the farming sector. So the youths, like you said, the number is there. There have been a lot of training, digital training, trying equipping them and supporting them, giving them startups after much training. So there's a lot that is happening within the youth sector.
Okay, before I leave this, let's talk about the opposition political parties. Of course, INEC has uploaded parties and their candidates, and do you feel threatened at all that there could be an upset in Enugu State in 2027?
Yeah, in 2027, like the Igbo call it, they say it's in Dorondoro Chichi. So we expect people to try. But His Excellency Barrister Peter Ndubisimba have put the right foot forward, that any right thinking Enugu citizen would want him to continue in delivering the democracy dividends he has set out to do. So I don't really expect any upstarts or any serious challenge in Enugu State because the people are with us.
Okay, what's your message to your brothers, the Ankano brothers? That it would appear that those who are shouting more about non-performance, Excellency the Governor, are your brothers, and even some who have been part of the government. So what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, my advice to them is for them to look inwards, because the problem could be with them, not with Peter Ndubisimba. Today, I'm from Amagunze, and if I want to visit my community and I drive through Emene from Amage, in less than 10 minutes, I'm in my community.
What would they have taken you some 4 years ago?
What it would have taken me some 4 years ago should be about at least should be 2 hours driving through 4 corners with all the death trap, the bad roads, and so on, moving from Ozala or Abane, Abugo, getting to Amagunze. But now in a very beautiful road from Amechido, 10 minutes, you are in Amagunze. With all the other projects and schools that His Excellency have been able to put in Nkano land, there is only somebody that I really don't understand the rationale. But like Edibo adage, they are the ones, yes, I agree. It has always been like that. But my advice to them is to check within, to look inward. They could be the problem themselves. Like we say, people that have been in government, part of this government, and possibly because it is not what you expected, you will not be able to have your hand in the till to amass wealth, and then you decide to start shouting and talking.
But they believe they have better programs to offer the people.
Let them offer the people. Let them tell us what they can do better in terms of security that His Excellency Peter Ndubisimba have not done. Let them tell us their educational program. How are they going to achieve it? Let them tell what program have they pushed out to the people than attacking Peter Ndubisimba's personality and his government. So let them lay it bare to the people that he has done these roads that will do better. That today if you want to go to the north, Turamechi Dodo Obaho, in few minutes you get yourself to the northern flank of this country. Let them tell us what they are going to do. You see, the problem is that when you solve a problem over a period of time, people get used to that. They will never remember how it used to be. Let them tell us what they are going to do. That today, from Pinox all the way to Ugogo, that the roads are dualized, that the Ababa axis are dualized. Let them tell us that for some reasonable period of time, that you've not had any kidnapping or infraction in Ugogo Upi roads. Let them tell us what they want to do differently or better than Peter and Bisimba have done it. If not malice and jealous.
Well, democracy is the ability of everybody to contest an election. It is their right.
Yeah, it is their right.
So, as we went down, you looking back past 3 years and a half, will you confidently beat your chest and said in terms of infrastructure, in terms of delivery, in terms of human management, in terms of promise made by the governor, that he's well qualified to go for the next election?
He is more than qualified to go for the next election, and I believe that the Enugu people can attest to that. He's more qualified that he is a governor that is spreading his programs and projects across all the wards in the state. He is not being accused of facing a particular zone or area. The roads we are doing are across the states, and the promise to even do more, that every ward in Enugu State, before the wind down of this government, will have at least 10 kilometers of road in all the wards. We're not talking of the major roads that are transversing the different zones of this state. The smart schools are going. He is not our regular politicians, because some of the projects he's embarking on is project that you will actually see the benefit when the life of this government is gone. When we talk about smart school, we're expecting to see the result in the next 10-15 years. That's when people will start appreciating the vision of this young man called Peter Ndubisimba. So he is more than qualified. So we should be praying that he will continue. I don't see any reason.
Okay, maybe I won't let this slide. Yes, I agree that to a very reasonable extent, Enugu is safe. But of course, we'll still witness pockets of kidnapping. One, maybe you may not know, an alleged kidnapping in Ugogo Nike Road just last week, before the Alpha one happened. There's no way in the world where you say, I was watching my foreign news, I won't advertise anyone, and I was hearing about people being killed in the US, in this city, in Texas, that shot. So it happens. But still, do you have any news about the 2 missing people still in Alpha? The rescued one, they say 2 are still missing. I saw some people trying to politicize it. But of course, it happens, even with the most developed countries. So what do you think must be done to totally eliminate? And somebody asked me to ask you. Well, no, this question I'm going to ask. Someone asked me to ask you. The time a drone was floated in Enugu, where's the drone now? So they don't seem to hear it, or is it now noiseless?
Thank you very much. You've said where I would have started to answer this question. There is no climb where you can totally eradicate crime or criminality.
It's not possible.
What you could do is to reduce it. And if they want to accept that the number, the consistency within it used to happen in that Ugogo road have reduced drastically. The kidnapping in Enugu, there used to be almost on weekly basis here people being picked at New Haven, ESBS, and so on. These things have reduced. There's no way we can eliminate. But what is important is that the ability of this government to pursue and track these criminals once there's an infraction. Some of the things are based because of security. They don't just come out on air and start making show of faith. The drones are working. the kidnapping you had at Alpha and so on, ask the people there whether the drones are not being used with the security agents to move around and monitor them. Because if you not come into the air and the social media and start showing the drone, those people you are trying to use drones to capture will see what is happening and then devise a means to circumvent it. So these are security. People will see some of these DRS vehicles on the road parked and they say there's no police, there's nobody. That is part of the system. People in the control room are monitoring that vehicle that has its camera working. So, but people are trying to see when it starts.
We are part of this team. We are at the control room.
Good.
Yeah,
so you see it
working.
So I want to assure our people that His Excellency is not any slightest security infraction gives him a lot of disturbance, and he always charge the security agencies to do more. What happened that I believe and I keep praying that the remaining two will be rescued alive, and then certainly the culprits will certainly be brought to book. A lot has been happening, but it's not something they publicize, except where it becomes necessary. They try to show the press what they are doing.
Your name is Frank, and you've been frank to an extent. The forest guard. Yeah, I agree of merit. I agree totally that wherever you find very capable people, they should man government. But of course, you know there are certain places people should man. And so many people are worried about the leadership of the forest guard. And again, he says it's non-indigenous. You see, half of these guys who do this job, some are literate, some are not literate. There is even a conversation that you must not say in English, that you need to speak to about in our own dialect, in the local Amagunze dialect, and at least an Enugu dialect somebody will understand. So they still feel worried that perhaps is there no way it was done with good intention, but is there no way we don't have very many experienced retired generals? They say there's a lot of them from the SSS and all all manner of people. And they say the best DIG that reside in Nigeria is from Enugu State. And so it's not time to consider. We're not talking about that point. It's already been done. Can't it be considered that
do you realize there is a chairman of forest guards?
Of course, me and you know chairman and
now do you realize that the forest guards have their commanders at the local levels?
Because in Churchill State there's no comparison between number one and the rest.
So if I will agree with you, there could be some other experienced officers, but evidence or whatever
brought the guy
in. The question we should be asking again is, are they delivering? Is the forest guards not working because the commander is not from Enugu State? And to be honest with you, let us keep politics apart. You might argue it. There are certain things you need to get, contacts you have outside Enugu State. I saw a video on social media where a policeman told somebody that if you are Igbo, I would have detained you.
Why?
He should be able to explain. Now, nobody, Esut Medical School, did not have accreditation for how many years? It took a man that has the contact to not just get the nursing school accredited, but today in Nigeria, Enugu State has the highest number of accreditation for nursing schools. 350 from 50 used to be. So can we check about results?
We don't know what they're talking about.
We talk about results. So the forest guard, let me tell you something. When your opponents don't want you to succeed, they will bring all manner of arguments. So you remove the person that are giving you results simply because they don't like his face or they don't like where he comes from. And that program starts nose diving, they will still come back at you. So this is part of it. So it's part of the government burden we have to bear. But the most important thing is to keep our eyes on the goal. Are they delivering? Has there been any problem because the commander of forest guard is not an Enugu person? Is it even not better that he's not from Enugu? Because if they arrest your brother, you can't call and start using an Enugu person or is your in-law.
That was cut to the state police. Because the idea of state police, this rush counter to the idea of state police. Because the state police is go back to your place.
Go back to your
and manage your place. So
and people are already expressing fear. Now those in charge will use it against their brothers and so on.
Okay, listen, Nachi, I want to look at the camera and talk to Enugu as we bring this conversation to a close. Look at Enugu, talk to them. Upcoming local government election, we've not got a campaign for the others. But I talked to Enugu.
Thank you very much. It is my singular honor and privilege to address the Enugu people. First, I want to appreciate them and ask them not to relent with their support to the administration of His Excellency Barrister Peter Ndubisimba. He's a man that has Enugu dream at heart. He's a man that sought power, and the power he sought is to do good, to change the narratives, and to bring Enugu to the premier position he used to occupy in the polity of Nigeria. So I want to ask them, to plead with them to continue supporting him, to support us as we embark on the campaign for the re-election of His Excellency Barrister Peter Ndubisimba. The local government election are coming up next month. We pray that you support our councillors and our local government. By 19th of this month, the presidential campaign will kick off. I pray that you support our presidency, presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that we'll be able to win this election from bottom to top. At the end, Enugu State will be better for it, and to God will be the glory. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Viewers, he has been Honorable Frank Anioma Nachi, advisor political to the governor of Enugu State. We've engaged him for the past 1 hour, and I think he has discharged the obligations of his office well. He's been very frank in answering a few questions, and you heard him say, "I'm running into trouble with this," but he spoke truth to power. Thank you so very much. And we do hope that when we call you out of your busy schedule, we are going to be very busy in the coming weeks and days. But please, each time you come here, you have a way of explaining things that people don't explain. And that's why you're the political advisor to the governor. So thank you very much. And to our viewers, join us same time next week for yet another interesting edition of Political Conversations. Thank you very much.